man in this movie, the spirit being, has a lot in common with him, except he doesn't really look much like the way he's represented in the different statues or art, you know, the jewelry or the figurization you get on pottery and other places this representational art takes place. He is a nature spirit who has to do with the fertility of the land, which is what we're seeing in this movie too. I think this figure has got overtones of Christian angels mixed with Native American Kokopelli type nature spirits in this figure. And the main thing about Kokopelli is he seems to be, he likes to play tricks on people. He's a kind of a bit of a wise guy. He's a trickster. And we're going to see the same thing when we do, what's the name of that book? Conversations with Don Juan or whatever? Well, what's the name of that book that you're looking at there?
The Teachings of Don Juan.
Teachings of Don Juan. You know, Don Juan's going to be pretty much of a wise guy. And then when this guy finally meets, what's the name for the deity that he meets in that one? What do you call him?
Mescalito.
Mescalito? Yeah, Mescalito. When he finally meets Mescalito, Mescalito's going to be a real trickster. And that may have something to do with the kind of drugs people, because he, in that book, is taking drugs. Not modern sort of commercial drugs, but Native American plant root sort of drugs taken out of the different, you know, vegetables, shall we say, materials that can extract such things off and from. I think probably a lot of this shamanesque sort of religious feeling based upon central medicine men type characters often had to do with drug-induced conscious states, whether trances or just highs or whatever. So that when people did get in that state, apparently a lot of tricksterous sort of thing often may be developed. And that's why I think it's sometimes portrayed as a prankster or practical joker. Although, as we see, the physical force of the universe, nature, is sort of like a practical joker too. Look at the hurricanes in Florida just now. I mean, that was so boring. I mean, I couldn't even turn on the TV for 5 days without seeing some guy under a tree with wind blowing. And these people, these journalists, I mean, why don't they give it up? I mean, they could have had 5 minutes of this wind and sailboats crashing up and down on each other occasionally. But they had like 24-hour coverage, wall to wall. They're so useless. I mean, give them something to run with, and that's all they'll run over and over, because they don't have any, you say, why? They don't need brain. The easiest thing to do is cover a murder. What's that trial going on in Northern California? You hear ad nauseum. What's that one? Who cares about those people? All I feel is bad for the young lady who got chucked into the San Francisco Bay. I mean, jeepers. But what? Now we have to rivet on this guy for 8 months? Non-stop coverage with every expert. This is just exploitation of you and me, unfortunately. The same with these storms. They think we're idiots, which I guess we are. And they feel that our attention span is so limited that all that they can do is hook us with is something like that, or the Kobe Bryant case, or a hurricane. But they don't really want to tell us what's going on in, you know, Kazakhstan. They don't want to tell us anything about the Congo. I mean, they don't want to tell us real news, what's actually going on in the universe. They just want to tell us this kind of, you know, tabloid stuff. It's really sad. If I was a journalist, I think I would shoot myself. I mean, it's the most, I don't want to go in the journalism department here. Don't tell me if you are, but it's become one of the, it's not much different than a call girl in industry. It's about on the same level. And you can take that to the powers that be and say someone said that, but it's really sad. It's really a form of prostitution, and I'm not against prostitutes. I'm nothing against them. In fact, prostitutes are probably more honest. But gay or female, I'm not trying to be selfish. Anyway, to get back to now that one, I don't know how we got off. There I saw it off. Anyway, let's get your view of this movie. Any other things? I've spoken about Cocopelli, and I think he runs through this thing. And I think that angel-like figure who's trying to play the tricks is a representation of him to some extent. What are a few tricks that he plays there? Do you know? I think he gets the guy to jump in the tractor or something, and doesn't he get the? I mean, he's working through Amarante kind of, isn't he? And then there's the pig gets loose or something like that, and the tractor goes absolutely bonkers, and all kinds of odd. The wind comes up and blows all the leaflets all over. So there's lots of little tricks.
That the spirit has something to do with death. When you're alive, he sees Amarante and he sees, and you relax and prepare for you. It's your city, it's your town. So I thought he had something to do with death.
Well, he's already dead, that guy. So I mean, in effect, he does have something to do with death, right? But he's not. He's saving everyone, it seems.
Yeah.
But it's the death circle, yeah.
The best example I thought was when he involved, when the guy was trying to burn the newspapers, and then all of a sudden the wind came up and all the newspapers were spread across the town.
Right.
And then united the town in the
this
single
movement,
goal of
yeah,
this
of
movement.
getting the bean fields fertile and getting rid of the exploiters. There's the ecological theme here. The developers who are going to ruin the ecology of the land and destroy the solidarity of the community, the tribe, the village, and so on, with their high wages or tourist attraction and so on. So you get all that. There's everything. There's a lot in this movie, even though you think it's nothing. And I think people who made it are very clever because they made it for entertainment. You know, people enjoyed it. It was fun. When I came back here, and you guys were still laughing at even the corniest jokes. The guy falls and trips into the stream, and you all laugh. You know, it's like someone slipping on a banana peel. You know, but it produced the effect. You were all laughing. So that is. I think that's one of the main interventions that take place in this thing. But they're intervening from the get-go. I don't think it's so much about death because they save Amarante in the end anyway, and he's still poking around by the end of it. He's no worse off at the end than he is at the beginning. So I'm not sure that death is coming. Death is involved. But anyway, it's just...
Yeah, because at the end, I thought it could be that Amarante was dying because he takes him. He says, come with me, I know the shortcut.
Oh, yeah, maybe you think they're leaving at that point. Yeah, maybe he is going off. Although he just got saved, so it's a little hard for me to believe it. Anyway, just a movie. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, the part where he says, I know the shortcut, you see the little, you see the tractor marks from when the tractor went through the gate and then on down to